Hello, it's Riley. So I've decided to upload another video about what Christianity is. This one isn't a gospel, so if you haven't heard the gospel before, please go to the one that says the gospel. For the truth seekers, that one is where you can hear the gospel. But if you are not a Christian, please watch this video to find truth, because that's what we all should be looking for. So if you haven't heard really what Christianity is about and what is the evidence or all that sort of stuff to confirm Christianity, then you should watch this video, because I believe this is true with all my heart and soul. And because I believe it's true with all my heart and soul, I think you should have the opportunity to learn about it, and you should have the resources that you can to learn about it. I don't know everything. I'm just a senior in high school, and so I'm striving to learn more and more about Christianity and about what the evidence is for it, so that I can back up my belief. And also, I need to explore other options, because what if it's wrong? You know what I'm saying? If it's wrong, it has eternal consequences. So you got to be looking for truth, and you got to search with all your heart and soul, because that is so important. Okay, so I'm gonna address some topics here about Christianity. The first one that I really want to talk about is a self-analysis. What is holding you back from Christianity? Are you chasing truth, or are you chasing relativism, which basically means, well, that's your truth, but it's not my truth. No, that's not how it works. If there's a dumpster standing in front of me, that's a dumpster, and it doesn't matter if I think it's an elephant, it's still a dumpster. Your truth doesn't matter. The truth matters. And so you have to be thinking, is it a head problem that I'm having, or is it a heart problem that I'm having? Because a lot of people are unwilling to try God because they have been hurt in the past by maybe the church, or they see Christians as hypocrites. But here's the thing, what man is doing does not dictate the goodness of God. So if I hurt you and say I'm a Christian, well, first of all, I'm probably not a Christian, because I shouldn't have hurt you physically or even mentally. So if I hurt you, that doesn't resemble my beliefs. That doesn't resemble the Bible, because the Bible tells us to love our neighbor as we love ourselves. So if I do that, then I'm not portraying Christianity accurately, and you can't judge Christianity based on that. You know what I'm saying? Okay, so it's really important that you self-analyze yourself and figure out, are you chasing truth, or are you chasing relativism? Is it a head or a heart problem? All right, so then I wanted to talk about the story of Job, sin, Adam and Eve, that sort of thing, because it really brings into perspective the fact that Christianity is not necessarily a prosperity religion. It's not, well, if you're really good, then you're gonna get all this worldly stuff. You know what I'm saying? Christianity is not about that. So if you're going through a hard time, please don't blame God, because there are so many scenarios in the Bible where people are going through a really hard time. It's not God's fault. In a way, God allows it to happen, but it's because of the brokenness of the world, and because Satan has leeway over the world, if you know what I'm saying. So the story of Job, Job was a really godly person. He was righteous through his faith, and he never ever denied God, never forsake him with his mouth. Even though Job had his family taken away from him, he had his health taken away from him, he had all his money, everything that he had earned in his life was taken away from him. And Job didn't say, well, God must not exist, because Job knew that God existed, and he still never forsake God with his mouth, because God is still good, even beyond the circumstances that we are experiencing in our lives. Experiences on this world don't really matter, because one day you're gonna die and you're gonna go to heaven, and that makes it all better, really. And I know it hurts a lot, and you're gonna be mad at him for letting it happen, but the really important thing to remember is that through suffering produces endurance, and endurance produces character, and character gives us hope for this world which is really broken. And we can just draw closer to God through our suffering. So please don't turn away from the idea of reaching into Christianity because something bad has happened to you. Don't do that, okay? And the reason why bad things happen is because of Adam and Eve in the garden. When they ate the apple, they basically opened up Pandora's box, and now sin rules the world, and it's just not as good as it was intended to be when God created this place. But he let it happen, and now we have the promise of heaven. And even when bad things are happening, it's gonna be okay, because you have God, and he's way more important than anything that can be happening in your life. You can lose everything and still love God, just like Job lost everything and still loved and trusted in God. I mean, even if we think about Paul was in prison, but he still had hope. He had still breath in his lungs to sing praise to God, because he knew that it's gonna be okay, because we're gonna go to heaven and we're gonna be with God forever, and everything will be made right. Okay, so really self-analyze yourself. Are you chasing truth, or are you chasing relativism? That's really important, because just because bad things happen, oh my gosh, just because bad things happen doesn't mean that God doesn't exist. So if we're looking at a logical standpoint, creation calls for a creator, right? Am I right? I am in my garage right now. The fact that it's there proves that somebody created my garage, because my garage just doesn't come out of chaos. That's not how it works. And there is so much design in the world around us, even more design than Mount Rushmore for like a worm. Like a worm has more design in it and like more genetic coding and all that sort of stuff than Mount Rushmore, and it's a worm. So imagine how much we have in us that has been designed and has been coded by an amazing creator that also gives us a soul. And like, that's kind of crazy. So if you think about it logically, there has to be a creator. Just, I could say so many different scientific, like smart or intellectual things, but it doesn't take that much intellect to realize there has to be a creator. Just think about it, really, and you'll find that there's got to be a creator. With how much design there is, even the cosmological argument with how the universe is formed, and all the design of the universe, and how the planets are spinning and rotating and revolving in this perfect solar system. Like, that's kind of crazy how they follow some sort of law when everything should be chaotic. You know what I'm saying? So there's got to be a creator, because there is obvious design, and logically there just has to be a creator. Okay, so historical reliability of the Bible and the Gospels, it's there. It is really there. There is historical reliability. Historians don't deny that Jesus walked this earth. So if you think that there's no historical evidence for Jesus even existing, then you probably you need to do some more research, because he was there. But concerning the Bible and the Gospels, it's not just a storybook. It's not. Like, they have genealogies throughout the entire Bible. Like, pretty much every book that I have written has genealogies and is backed up by architecture and historians. Like, these things happened, but the reason why people are just so like hyper fixated on the fact that it can't be real is the fact that there are miracles, and they don't want to believe those miracles. So look, it's the Bible's got historical reliability. Like, for Jesus coming back to life, it is confirmed, yes, Jesus died on the cross, and yes, Jesus died, and his body was not found in the tomb. He appeared to over 500 eyewitnesses. So were all 500 of those people crazy? Were they all part of some giant conspiracy theory? that has lasted this long? I don't think so. And we have historians writing about Jesus and like John the Baptizer that weren't even Christians, but they wrote about the amazingness of Jesus and how he just captivated so many people, and they acknowledged his importance during not his lifetime, but a little bit after his lifetime. So the Gospels, they were written within the lifetime of eyewitnesses, by eyewitnesses, or those who were very close with eyewitnesses. We have Luke, who is a devout historian. Matthew is competent, as he was a tax collector, and he included historical genealogies that were pertinent to the text. Like, he wanted to get it very perfect. And if he was a follower, then he was probably taking notes, like they demonstrate in The Chosen. The Gospels are 4 different books, written at different times in different places, all saying the same thing but with their own perspectives. So a lot of people will say that there are what's the word for this? That there are things that go against one another in the Gospels, but they're really just the same gospel from different perspectives. And I can maybe address some of those in a different video, or you can find some by yourself. So there are 5,700 manuscripts that are written within a few hundred years of the original copies, making the Bible the most historically accurate book there is, with 99% certainty that it was as it is today, that the original copies were as they are today. And after that is Homer's Iliad with 95% certainty. So it's pretty reliable. Like, a lot of people say, like, how can you trust the Bible? Well, we have these manuscripts. We have a lot of manuscripts, and they support one another, and we have 99% certainty that it was as it was before. So and if we go back to like the study of astronomy, and this is talking just about like the Creator, not specifically about Christianity and the Bible, but if we go back to like astronomy and the creation of the universe, how it points to God. If you study astronomy, like I'm taking astronomy right now, and I'm just like, how do people not believe in a God? Like, how can you study astronomy and think, oh, that's okay, that just happens randomly, like the universe just went boom and then everything by itself just happened? No, I don't buy that. Just because a smart scientist said it doesn't mean that I buy it. Yes, I do believe in the Big Bang, but like Frank Turek said, I believe that I know who banged it. And it had to have been like somebody with an insane amount of intelligence, way more than we could possibly have. So, we know the universe had a beginning. That was proven. You can look up the science of that. You can look up the history of the universe. We know it had a beginning, and the universe is set to have an end. So that means that it's not eternal. Like I said before, design does not come from chaos. We can't have this whole amazing earth from chaos. Like, that's just not how it happens. We can't have the universe from chaos. There's definite order. I mean, we have laws. We have the law of gravity. We have friction, and Earth seems to follow a set of laws. And how does that just happen? Chaos. Chaos means that it's not following a certain structure. So that doesn't make any sense. Think about conscience and morality begs for a creator. Think about the concept of objective morality. Killing people is wrong, and that's an objective moral standard. It's not subjective. We can't disagree and say, well, no, killing people isn't wrong. First-degree murder isn't wrong. No, we can't say that. There is objective morality. So it's really important that we remember that. And let's see here. So it's just really important that you're searching for truth, and you don't remain content in life and just say that I don't need to find truth, because one day you are going to die and you need to know what's going to happen after that. So see the truth, find the truth. It's so important. And have a good day. Read the Bible if you can. Pray. There are so many resources out there, but I hope this helped you a little bit. And just remember, like I said before, one day you're going to die, and it's really important that you know what's going to happen. It's really important that you're looking for truth, because you don't want to be living a lie for your whole life. So, goodbye and God bless.